It's time for Come and Talk It with your host, Michael Cargill, brought to you by Texas Law Shield. Over the last decade, Michael has championed and supported the rights of law-abiding Texans to own and use firearms. He is the owner of Central Texas Gun Works, a veteran of the United States Army, and has achieved national exposure in such prestigious media outlets such as Forbes Magazine, Fox Business News, CNN Money, AOL, BBC World News, Huffington Post, and the New York Times. Cargill vigorously defends lawful gun ownership in this country without regard to party politics. And now, here's Michael Cargill.
Good day, Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world. Let's praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. All right, so there's a shooting in Colorado Springs at a Colorado gay club, and let's give you the updates. So, at least 5 people were killed and when a man stormed into a gay club, nightclub in Colorado Springs just before midnight on Saturday and opened fire with a long rifle, the authorities said. Officials praised the patrons inside the club for quickly subduing the gunman, though at least 25 people were injured in the mayhem. And so let's get right into some of the details there. So early reports indicate that the suspect entered the nightclub wearing a body armor and began firing with an AR-15 style rifle, according to 2 law enforcement officials briefed on the shooting. The club's owners, who were not there but have reviewed surveillance videos, said the gunman entered the nightclub with tremendous firepower. The city's police chief, Adrian Vasquez, said in a news conference that the gunman had used a long rifle and 2 guns were recovered at the club. Now, officials later said the investigators were still working to determine who owned the rifle and other weaponry. Now, Chief Vasquez identified the suspect as Anderson Lee Aldridge, 22, and said the officials were investigating a motive. A person who has the same name and same age as arrested by the sheriff's deputies last year after a bomb threat in a residential area just outside Colorado Springs. The injured, including the suspect, were taken to several different hospitals, officials said, adding that some people also drove themselves to seek treatment, making the exact number of injured unclear. Not all of the injuries were from gunshot wounds, according to the officials. FBI said that if it was involved in the investigation, and many state and national lawmakers condemned the shooting. In a statement, the governor, Jared Polis, praised the brave individuals at the nightclub who had blocked the gunman, and President Biden said, "We cannot and must not tolerate hate." In a statement on its Facebook page, the Club Q, where the shooting took place, said it was devastated by the senseless attack on our community. The shooting had echoes of 2016 massacre at Pulse, a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida, where a gunman killed 49 people and wounded 53 after proclaiming allegiance to Islamic State terrorist groups. Tiara Kelly, who hosts a weekly drag show at a Club Q, moved to Denver from Colorado in 2019. She said the shooting stirred dark memories of the 2016 massacre at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, in which she lost several friends. "It's like living a nightmare all over again," she said. "Processing it isn't easier the second time. It might be worse." Leah Arnold had just finished a dance number at Club Q Saturday night when she heard there was a gunman, and she said at a vigil on Sunday. She said she saw a man with a rifle, then heard a bunch of shots and screaming, and saw a bartender jump in front of the gunman, ask if the barman had died. She nodded, tears in her eyes. And so the gunman who opened fire at the club on Club Q on Saturday night, killing at least 5 people, pulling up outside the Colorado Springs nightclub, heavily armed and wearing a military-style flak jacket, according to the club goers, who have reviewed surveillance video of the episode. The club owners, Nick Gradzka and Matthew Haynes, said on Sunday that they did not know the man who has been identified by police as a gunman, Anderson Lee Aldridge. Now, this is still ongoing. More information is still coming out. And, Zach, what kind of rifle are they saying at this point in time?
They're saying it's a AR-15 style long rifle.
Okay, so we don't know anything. And Colorado has very strict gun laws, right?
Yeah, they have pretty strict laws. They have magazine
Capacity.
capacity limits. You
Hmm.
can't have more than 15 round magazines.
Right, because they've had several shootings in Colorado, so they've gone the steps of actually creating different anti gun laws to actually, prohibit or to try to stop shootings of this nature.
Yeah, and the counties in Colorado can have more restrictive gun laws than state gun laws.
Hmm.
Like, for example, Boulder has an age limit of, or an age requirement of 21 for all guns. Instead of 18 for shotgun and long rifle, they require you to be 21 to purchase any type of gun.
Mm. Okay. All right. And they're also saying that this guy here, this guy matched the same description of someone else that was arrested who actually threatened their mother with a bomb.
Oh, yeah, he did a bomb threat last year, right?
Right. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
We're not sure if this is the same person or not. So, man, that's very interesting. I'm curious how someone who can, do a bomb threat the year before end up being the same type of person that commits a mass shooting. How is that even possible?
Yeah, and they have those red flag laws where they could take your guns if you're a crazy person or if you do something like that.
So Colorado has red flag laws.
ERPOs, yeah.
Very interesting. So I'm curious how this actually played out. How do you go from having a bomb threat and, the SWAT having to respond to a home because you're threatening to blow up your mother and then going to committing a mass shooting? Very interesting.
Wonder if his father was in the home.
Hmm. I don't know. As details will come out, we will definitely find out. We also have several videos we'll play for you a little later when we come back from the break. We're also going to talk about some other things today. We're gonna go to Oklahoma and talk about something that's going on in Oklahoma. Going to Oregon. We're gonna go to University of Virginia. Man, there's a shooting at University of Virginia. You remember Virginia Tech?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, Virginia Tech. Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna talk about Virginia and what happened there. Man, short-term memory. Do we have man? We're also gonna go to Louisiana. Talk about some things that happened in Louisiana. Man, there's an officer-involved shooting in Austin, Texas. We're gonna talk about that. The U.S. Supreme Court shot down a bump stock case. Yeah, we're
Not
getting
yours, right?
nah, we're getting a little step closer. Boy, I tell you, we're getting there.
It's another Cargill, though, isn't it?
No, it was not a Cargill.
It's
It
not
was
the other
it
Cargill?
was it there's no, it was a McCutcheon case.
McCutcheon.
McCutcheon versus the USA. We're going to talk about that. Also, more than 300 stolen guns recovered. I think we talked about that already. And then also, man, a 75 accused of holding wife hostage with a gun. And talk about that. Man, I tell you, is post-COVID, atmosphere is definitely something different. There's a lot going on. It's going on with, constitutional carry passed. There's a lot going on with people being locked up a certain amount of time. Can't handle that. Dealing with their loved ones. A lot going on. I wonder how much COVID, the shot had anything to do with all this stuff. Is that influencing people at all? We come back from the break, talk about that and more. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Peace, this is Maj Toure. You're listening to Come and Talk It Radio with Michael Cargill.
I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government. After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop,
I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, we're going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were compliant with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, we're going to go to Colorado Springs. There's some interviews of witnesses that were in the nightclub and also an employee that was in the nightclub. Remember, this is Colorado Springs. 5 people were killed and 25 were injured. Take a listen to this.
I was on the dance floor and I heard 4 to 5 shots ring out. We all thought it was the music, because sometimes that happens. The shots were muffled because the shooter was behind a kind of like, not bulletproof, but soundproof glass windows. Another set of shots went off, and these were closer. So when I knew what was going on, I ran to the dressing room, and a customer followed me, and we got down on the ground. I told them to cut off all the lights, we locked the doors, and we called the police immediately. We heard everything. More shots, people crying, glass breaking, windows being shattered. Like, it was bad. We were in there so long. No one knew we were in there when we came out. Bodies laying on the ground. Shattered glass everywhere, broken blood. Oh, God.
And we have another interview from an employee at the club. Take a listen to this.
Things considered, it got pretty busy, throughout the night, as people tend to come out later. And from my perspective, I was just bartending, making drinks at the bar. And then I noticed that there was like loud banging sounds. So I looked up and there were like 3 in a row. And then I saw someone, and I recognize it's dark. It's really dark. It's a club, so you can't see well. But I saw like the outline of a gun in somebody's hand. I couldn't make out anything, just a shadow. I just saw the gun, and I think it might have had like a light on it, like a scope light or so. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of guns, but I just saw maybe like a light or something on it because it's dark. So I think it would make sense if they had the on there.
The gunshots that you heard, were the gunshots happening quickly?
Yeah, it was back to back to back to back to back to back. I heard about maybe 4 or 5 before it registered in my head what was going on. But like, I honest to God, when it first started, I just thought someone was clapping. Like I just heard like clap, clap. And I looked up, I'm like, who is being dramatic right now? And then I realized no one was being dramatic. Someone was being, unhinged and doing this insane shit. Sorry. I got out and a few feet away, I saw someone lying on the ground, and the door from the dance floor to the patio is a glass door. All that glass had been shattered. It was all over the ground, and I saw someone I knew lying there in that broken glass, having been shot in the neck. And I went to approach them, and they weren't too vocally responsive. So I wasn't sure what to do. My first thought for me, what I can't stop thinking about is the visuals of the evening of the bodies, of the blood, of the broken glass, of the carnage and the wreckage, and seeing a safe place turned into a war zone. I can't get that visual out of my head, and I'm familiar with the people harmed in this, injured in this, and to see, it's one thing to see, a crime scene, if you will, but it's another thing to see your friends or your coworkers or people suffering and you don't know what to do. The night of the Pulse shooting, I was at a Selena Gomez concert at the Amway Arena, which is pretty close to the Pulse nightclub. And I remember that, and that was a scary time. I mean, to be gay and to know that one of your safe places is being ambushed, maliciously is like, it just breaks my heart. And that's always, since that happened, this has always been a fear in the back of my head. I just feel like these incidents happen all the time. It doesn't matter where. Today it was at a gay club, but tomorrow it could be a freaking church or a Walmart. It's just a consistent pattern. And I always hoped that I would never be somewhere where this would happen. But unfortunately, today was the day that, the stars align in a really twisted way. And I happened to be at that place at that time. And, I just don't think I will go back there. I just don't think I could work there. I don't think I could visit there. I mean, after the events of tonight, it turns a safe place into somewhere where you don't feel safe at all anymore.
All right, so that's one of the employees of the Club Q, the shooting that happened earlier this morning at midnight. And I went and took a look at some of the bars in Austin, Texas. I said, let me just check the gay scene in Austin, Texas, and see what the law is. Can you carry guns there? Can you not carry guns there? So I went to the TABC's website. That's where I like to go because I like to look up their liquor license and see, can I carry my gun according to Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission? Can I carry my gun inside those gay bars? So I wanted to know, hey, can I go to Rain? Can I go to Oil Can Harry's and carry my gun there according to Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission? And so take a look at what the website says. So we went to TABC and we pull up, for example, let's pull up Rain. We pull up Rain and take a look at what TABC says for that. And keep in mind that if it says gun sign red, that means it's a bar. If it's a bar, you cannot take a handgun, you cannot take a rifle, you cannot take any clubs, you cannot take a knife where the length of the blade is over 5.5 inches inside of a bar. But if you take a look, Rain on 4th, according to the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, says gun sign blue. So that means it's a restaurant. And since it's a restaurant, you can actually bring your gun in there. In order for you not to be able to bring your gun in there, in this restaurant, they would have to post a sign that says no guns are allowed for a constitutional carry. A simple sign of a gun, a line drawn through it, a sign that says no guns are allowed, or a 30.05 sign. Any type of sign that says something like that says no guns are allowed, that will prohibit someone from carrying inside Rain on 4th with a handgun or any type of firearm. Now, for a license holder, in order for a license holder to not be able to carry a gun inside Rain on 4th, they would have to post a 30.06 sign or a 30.07 sign. But as a license holder, if I don't see the sign, I don't notice it, then I can go in and they have to tell me verbally to leave. They have to give me verbal notice.
So Rain is a restaurant?
Rain is a restaurant. That is correct.
What is it that the men in there are eating?
I can't say that on the radio. See, you're trying to get me in trouble there, Zach. You're trying to get me in trouble. See,
How's it? French fries or popcorn?
God don't like ugly.
No, it's not those. Something else.
God don't like ugly. See, stop trying to provoke me. I'm trying to behave myself. And
are you hungry or something?
I'm trying to behave myself on Sunday. It's November the 20th, and I'm trying to be good. Okay?
That's a bunch of malarkey.
I actually got up this morning. I prayed, and everything. I'm trying to be good today.
For strength?
Yes, for strength and guidance, to lead me in the right direction.
Okay, so they changed their status from red to blue.
That is correct.
So that they could stay open during the pandemic.
That's right. That's right.
And as a result of that, now people can carry their firearm into the restaurant.
Unless they tell them verbally that they cannot, or they post the proper signage, which is any type of sign for constitutional carry, a 30.06 or 30.07 sign for license holders. But as a license holder, if you don't see the sign, don't notice it, you can go in. And keep in mind, as of September the 1st of 2021, if you're a license holder, you have a license, you can be at least 0.08 up to the legal limit.
If you don't have a license, then you better not drink if you have your gun.
That's right. No license at all. You cannot be intoxicated at all as of September the 1st of 2021.
That's a nice little benefit of having a license.
That's right. Laws change.
No, I was going to say that.
Other mic.
I was going to say simply that if you're drinking, so what you're saying is that we should treat it like you're driving, essentially.
That's right.
If you're carrying a license, so designated driver in the group
Yeah.
could be the concealed carry.
Yeah.
To help protect the group.
That's right.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Make sure don't be over 0.08.
Okay.
That's right. Designated safety person.
So the mistake that this gay club in Colorado made was that
I don't know what the Colorado laws are.
Well, I guess what must have happened is that they changed their license and then they didn't have the sign, so that's why the shooter was able to enter and do what he did.
No, don't know what the laws are in Colorado. I don't go.
Only
to
it were a gun-free zone.
I stay in Texas. I like the Lone Star State, baby.
Where Texas people can carry their gun.
Other country.
That's right. I'm staying right here.
Yeah, people can carry their guns, and then if somebody wants to shoot a place up, they're going to have to worry about a dozen people shooting back.
That's right. The West starts here, baby.
Yeah, because a lot of people might not know this, but as a demographic, LTC holders commit the least amount of crime of any group, no matter how you split it: man, woman, age, race.
Isn't it that they even don't mean to interrupt?
And hold on, we come back from the break. We'll talk about that. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Hello, my name is Edwin Walker. I'm an independent program attorney with Texas Law Shield. I want to talk to you today about an issue that we see on a daily basis. In fact, you yourself will encounter it on a daily basis, and that is the subject of road rage. I am sure that you have all seen road rage. You may have actually been involved in a road rage incident. Now, if you're a responsible gun owner, I'm going to give you a few words of advice on how to react when you find yourself in one of these unfortunate road rage incidents. While on the roadways, we all observe something that makes us upset. Whether it's poor driving, unsafe driving, or just simply somebody being very discourteous. By all means, you should restrain yourself from engaging that person and telling them how bad their actions were. because this can be perceived as an act of road rage. If you're a lawful gun owner, you have a firearm in your vehicle, you do not want to be viewed as the aggressor in a road rage situation. Now, with regard to a situation where an individual has chosen to rage against you, and you are the actual victim of the road rage, if you and the other individuals are still in their automobiles, do not use your firearm to respond to any of the rager's activities. This is because law enforcement views the fact that you're both still safely in your metal boxes as removing any threat of immediacy that you may be harmed. So please, if you have a gun, somebody is raging against you, forget you have a gun. Don't display it, don't brandish it, don't show it, don't point it.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're talking about some of the gun laws here in Texas. We're trying to, educate you on what the laws are. A lot of people don't know that constitutional carry went into effect on September the 1st of 2021, but there's some really weird things. When you're looking at the law, if you pull up the Texas handgun licensing law, and you look at, like, for example, 46.035, where it talks about license holders. What you don't realize is there are two separate bills. There is a constitutional carry bill that went forward. Then there's a separate bill that went forward that talked about repealing 46035, where both of those bills actually passed. And because both of those bills passed, 46035 has actually been repealed. But in the order that it actually passed, it's still listed in the law books. But when you go back and look at our Texas laws, because the fact that it was repealed, it pulled out the alcohol, for license holders. It pulled out a couple other things for license holders. And so because of that, some things have changed for license holders. And that's why it reads that way. That's how we understand it that way. And a lot of people don't realize that. But go ahead.
How is it that you're able to find these to keep up to date? Where do you find these resources to be able to find the laws to make sure that you're upholding all these new laws constantly being changed?
And honestly, what we have to do is I actually, meet with my attorneys, and I actually conduct classes, at the gun store. We conduct seminars, and we update people on these changes in the laws. And unless you attend one of these seminars, and it's a lot of information. It's a lot that happened in Texas in 2021. It was so much that I actually had to sit down with my attorneys like 4 different times to, explain this stuff to me. And then I still go back even today. I said, hold on. Okay, run that by me one more time, because I have a couple of questions about something in particular. And I'll get Edwin Walker here on the radio show to talk about some different things as well, because I'm still, there's some things that wait a minute, I still have a question about something else. How did this happen one more time? Because it's confusing. It all happened really fast. The legislature goes into session every odd year from January to June. And what they did in 2021, right around May of 2021, a lot of things change over a 1-week time period. And they changed so fast, a lot of people missed it. They went into effect, and boom, on September 1st, it hits us. I want to go back to... there is one other bar here in Austin. There's Rain, we just talked about. Rain on 4th. And then there's another bar. What's the other bar, Zach?
Oil Can Harry's.
I knew you would know the name of the bar, Zach. And yeah, Oil Can Harry's. You fell right on into that trap.
I know the name of the bar, therefore I must eat there.
Save it for the judge. Okay. So Oil Can Harry's. All right. So there's another bar, Oil Cans. Let's take a look at that. So let's look at their liquor license and see what their liquor license says. According to the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission's website, Oil Can Harry's is gun sign blue. All right, so they are also a restaurant, which means that, once again, and so the way this works, take a look at the license. So we're looking at the license. We look at their, some things change. Their license is going to expire December 17, 2022. So we should go back and look at this website after December 17, 2022, and see if it goes from gun sign blue to gun sign red to see what happens after they're licensed, after they're inspected. Are they going to change them back to a bar? Because right now they're a restaurant. As a restaurant, you can take your guns inside there unless they tell you verbally, they warned you, tell you that you cannot, or they post a sign that you see as a license holder that you can't carry there.
And just FYI, they wand you basically on your arms and your armpit and your belt. They do not wand your boot.
Shh, don't tell them my secrets.
Yeah. So if you want to carry a gun at these places, just put it in your boot.
Because they're sloppy. They're so sloppy. They're inspecting, they're wanding. It's so sloppy. Not good at all.
Yeah, I never did get why they would always wand the top of my arms, like with a short sleeve shirt. It made no sense to me, but that's like they made sure to hit that part.
Yeah.
Procedure.
It's like that one guy when you're going into the softball game, that
The
one
guy just moves his hands over your body
he's just
real
like
quickly
going
and
through
doesn't even
emotions.
touch you.
That's how it is.
Tight security there.
Yeah, very tight security. Yeah.
Speaking of which, do we know if they had a bouncer at this this club down in Colorado?
I'm pretty sure they did. They
I
usually
mean, it
do.
sounds like he was pretty heavily kitted. So, like, where was that buried?
guy.
The door guy. Where was the
I mean,
door
what's
guy?
the door guy going to do?
First line of defense.
I mean, true. Lock the door maybe quickly.
First line of defense. Don't let you in. Don't let take one for the team. Don't let him in.
I don't think they pay a doorman enough for that.
Hey, what are you there for? Unless you're gonna take one.
Not to die.
I say die. I should take one for the team.
What does that mean? Take
Grab him,
one
hold
for the
him,
team. Oh,
fight with him.
Successfully disarm him, you mean?
Take a bloody lip or two.
Probably best I don't.
Yeah, probably best you don't. If you see a guy coming with the AR-15, you better have some moves.
Or maybe you are also armed.
Look, I'm going
Not
for it.
in Colorado.
I'm going
but
for it.
All right.
I'm cray. I'm telling you right now. I'm going for it.
Only if they're unarmed.
No,
Right.
they can be armed.
Only if you don't know they have a
I'm
knife.
going for it. I'm telling you right now. I'm going for it.
Well, did y'all see that video of the guy that came in and shot up some office and there was a
Yeah, in
patron
Buffalo?
there, Buffalo, I think it was, where the patron was freaking out, and then he just last minute said, "You know what? Screw it. Let me go out," and he took him out.
Yeah, the guy ran. He was only a couple feet away from him, and he just lunged at him, disarmed the guy. Another guy helped, and they
were able to apprehend him.
Took the gun away without
Nobody was
any
shot.
injuries. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I also saw a video of a guy basically picking up and body slamming a dude on the street here in Austin.
I think I saw that video too. It's like on
You
a
saw
highway,
that?
right? It's like a freeway or
Congress?
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of crazy people
I
going
think
around
he's wearing
here.
a polo
You might want
shirt.
to leave these crazy folks alone.
You do not know what you are talking about.
You might want to leave these people alone.
Yeah.
They snap at moment's notice.
Mhm.
That's all I'm saying.
An armed society is a polite society.
That's right. That's right. And so, and whether that could be arms with, muscle, you just never know.
Arms are guns. Okay? Yeah, if everybody has a gun, then everybody else is going to be a little more polite, knowing that the other person has some heat. Right?
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people might disagree, but I mean, whenever we had duels legal still, everybody knew how to be respectful and keep their tongue tied. Otherwise, you're going to have to go shoot it out.
Did you know you can actually do mutual combat here in Texas?
Is that still legal?
How does that work?
If we are outside, let's say we're outside of the bar, and I say, hey, I want to do mutual combat with you. And then you say, okay, mutual combat. Then we can fight in the street.
Finish him.
Cops can be around, and we can fist fight, and that is legal as long as it's agreed upon by both parties.
It's not disorderly conduct?
No,
No gloves allowed?
Why is not disorderly conduct?
because it is two people engaging in mutual combat.
You sure that's going to fly?
And is that just fists?
Let's try it.
I think you've lost it on that one.
Oh, man. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about this shooting in Colorado? Give us a call. Our call-in number is 512-643-5483. That's 512-643-5483. That's 512-643-5483.
One more time for me, Michael.
One more time?
One more time for me.
512-643-5483.
22.06 section of the Texas Criminal Code. A person is in a mutual battle if the contact did not cause serious bodily harm, or if the alleged victim participated even though they knew the risk because of their profession.
Mm. So you can't cause harm to the person.
Well, not serious bodily harm.
So
You can't curb stop
You
them.
can't knock them out.
You cannot curb stop them.
Oh, I can't do that because I tend to go too far.
Oh.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
So the question is do the cops roll around with gloves and like head guards and just let people duke it out in disagreements?
So simple assault is okay.
All right. Let's go to Oklahoma. Man, let me tell you. Oklahoma. Authorities found the underage son of Governor Kevin Stitt intoxicated and in possession of multiple firearms outside a Guthrie business last month, but he was not arrested or cited, according to the sheriff's department there. Deputies were called to a Guthrie haunted house on October 31st, with someone reported they found firearms in the parking lot, according to the report. After a box of 4 firearms, 2 rifles, and 2 pistols were discovered in the parking lot, John Drew Stitt, the governor's 20-year-old son, approached deputies and said the box belonged to him. That's my guns there, right there. Stitt also said he was intoxicated on alcohol, and one of the pistols belonged to his father. I'm sorry. So there's my guns right there. Stitt's speech slurred as his pupils were diluted, the report stated, which was first reported on one of the local stations there. The governor's office did not immediately provide any comment whatsoever. Man, I'm not surprised by something like that in Oklahoma.
Man, why can't I ever find a box of guns?
Zach, you're from Oklahoma, right? Oklahoma City?
That's right.
Yeah, so I know they crazy up in there.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that's where I'm from, buddy.
Yeah, Oklahoma. That's
Don't mess with me.
That's where the worst, trucking prostitution rings are usually in Oklahoma City. Between Oklahoma.
How do you know that?
Oklahoma City and Amarillo.
How do you know that,
Because
Michael?
you told me. Because that's what you told me.
Oh, that's what I told you. I don't know anything about trucking. You're the former truck driver. All right. So how does this former truck driver know about these rings of prostitution? Stop laughing and answer me.
How was
Michael,
your Oklahoma trip?
What
Michael?
is a lot lizard, Michael?
I don't know. You brought that up. You tell us.
What is a truck chaser?
I don't know what that is. You tell us. You're bringing all this stuff up. He who smelt it dealt it.
What the hell have we gotten into here?
Oh my goodness, straight killing me right now.
Up to no good.
Oh, right. We come back from the break. We're going to talk about, we're going to go to Oregon. We're also going to go to, we got to talk about Virginia Tech as well. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Hi, this is Stephen Williford, the Barefoot Defender. I get my global gun news from Michael Cargill at Come and Talk It.
Hello, my name is Edwin Walker. I'm an independent program attorney with Texas Law Shield. I want to talk to you today about an issue that we see on a daily basis. In fact, you yourself will encounter it on a daily basis, and that is the subject of road rage. I am sure that you have all seen road rage. You may have actually been involved in a road rage incident. Now, if you're a responsible gun owner, I'm going to give you a few words of advice on how to react when you find yourself in one of these unfortunate road rage incidents. While on the roadways, we all observe something that makes us upset. Whether it's poor driving, unsafe driving, or just simply somebody being very discourteous. By all means, you should restrain yourself from engaging that person and telling them how bad their actions were, because this can be perceived as an act of road rage. If you're a lawful gun owner, you have a firearm in your vehicle, you do not want to be viewed as the aggressor in a road rage situation. Now, with regard to a situation where an individual has chosen to rage against you, and you are the actual victim of the road rage, if you and the other individuals are still in their automobiles, do not use your firearm to respond to any of the rager's activities. This is because law enforcement views the fact that you're both still safely in your metal boxes as removing any threat of immediacy that you may be harmed. So please, if you have a gun, somebody is raging against you, forget you have a gun. Don't display it, don't brandish it, don't show it, don't point it, and for God's sake, don't fire it. This could result in a lot of trouble for you. Now let's look at a situation where a road rage incident has escalated. It has escalated to the point where one of the participants has actually gotten out of their vehicle. We recommend that you stay in your vehicle at all times. Do not exit your vehicle, because the person who exits their vehicle is going to be looked at as the aggressor. If the other individual has exited their vehicle and they are not in contact with your vehicle and they do not have a weapon, then do not feel that you can display your weapon in an act of self-defense. People are allowed to just simply stand there and scream at you, scream whatever they want. Until they make a demonstrative effort to try to harm you, there is no immediate threat that would justify displaying or shooting or brandishing your firearm. Now, in the event that the person shows their own weapon, in particular a firearm, the existence of their weapon would give you reasonable belief that there was an immediate threat.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're back and we're talking about shootings. We're talking about gun news all around the country and also the world in some cases. Let's go to, Colonial Heights gun shop owner, and says that UVA, University of Virginia, shooting suspect purchased guns from his store this year. He was denied twice before. All right, so let's take a look at this. Let's get into the story a little bit. So the owner of a local gun shop told a local news outlet that Christopher Darnell Jones Jr., the shooting suspect at the University of Virginia's campus, on Sunday night legally purchased 2 guns from their store this year. The owner of Dance Sporting Goods, Marlon Dance, wrote in a statement to the local news agency there that he was noting nothing noteworthy about the purchase that Jones made at this store. Now, on February 19, Jones purchased a caliber rifle on July 8th, he bought a Glock and Model 45 and 9mm pistol with an additional magazine. Now, Jones attempted to make 2 purchases from the store in previous years, but was turned away, according to the shop owner. Now, in December of 2018, Jones tried to buy a handgun from the store, but was denied because he was under 21 years of age. In July 2021, he tried to buy a caliber rifle, but failed the background check. Dan said they alerted Virginia State Police on both instances when Jones tried to unsuccessfully to buy firearms. Now, according to the Virginia State Police, spokesperson said that there was an investigation into the attempted purchase of a firearm on July the 8th of 2021 from a federally licensed gun dealer in Colonial Heights. And the Virginia State Police also said that the transaction center denied Jones' request based on a pending charge. Now, they were saddened to learn that the tragic events that took place in Charlottesville, Virginia on the Sunday evening, and their thoughts and prayers and all that good kind of stuff, they sent those out. Now, according to the Virginia State Police, the pending charges were reduced to a misdemeanor by a court in October of 2021, thereby removing the prohibition against future purchases. So at this time, there's nothing else that would have prevented this guy from actually buying a firearm and passing the background check. So he actually purchased the guns legally from the gun store. Zach?
Well, I mean, what are they going to do?
What do you say?
What are they going to do? What are they going to do? You're a gun shop store owner, right?
Yeah. What do you do?
What do you do? What do you do?
What do you do? If they pass the background check, they pass the background check. There's nothing you can do. You don't know.
Is there? Can you say, I won't sell you this gun?
Can't read their minds.
But
I don't know what their intent is.
Have you ever had someone where you're like, I don't like you, I'm not going to sell you a gun?
We've had people like that in situations
So
where
you
something didn't feel right.
You reserve the right to refuse.
You can
guns
refuse
to
service to anybody.
That's just being a business owner.
Yeah, anybody for anything. You can refuse service. It's not just about a gun. Anything.
Well, I mean, you get put out of business if you don't make somebody a cake.
You pull up the Walmart. I'm sorry, McDonald's drive-through, and you make me mad. I'm not gonna give you your French fries.
Yeah, you probably get fired by corporate.
Where's the beef?
But I mean, you own the shop. You're not a franchise or anything like that. So
Right.
if somebody comes in, they give you a bad vibe, they rub you the wrong way, you can be like,
Yeah.
Then they'll just go to another store.
Not
and
today.
Probably act different and then get the gun, though, right?
Yeah, that's a possibility. What do you think?
I mean, I think that as long as they don't verbally say what they're going to do with it necessarily, especially if it's something bad, there's nothing really you can do. Can't assume what they're going to do unless they actually say it. So, I mean, you're just kind of thrown into a tough pickle there. That's why I think that most people just need to be armed, like y'all said earlier, where more people armed, you're going to just be a little bit more respectful so you don't get shot.
Gotta arm yourself.
Yeah, because that's the only way to help protect yourself from these people that just have a loose hinge, it seems.
That's right.
Because when you make a bar a gun-free zone, only the people that follow laws are not going to bring their guns inside.
And what were you starting to say, Zach, right before we went on to break a couple of breaks ago, whenever about licensed concealed holders?
Yeah,
And
demographics broken down in terms of the crime rates of who commits the most crimes and the least crimes.
now, am I totally wrong in saying that licensed carry holders commit less crime than even cops do that enforce the
That's
laws?
correct.
That is correct.
Mhm.
Okay, that's an interesting statistic. So typically, if you go through the process,
I don't want you to know that, though. You're not supposed to know that. You're not supposed to know license holders are law-abiding citizens.
The most law-abiding citizens of any type of citizen.
Of any type of citizen.
any type, even the older
Any
ones,
type.
Any type.
even if they're old like Michael, doesn't matter.
Even old like
Doesn't matter.
Michael.
Even old men commit more crimes than LTC holders.
That's right.
Even
License.
old ladies commit more crime than LTC holders.
So old granny, more likely to commit a crime.
Yep.
Oh wow, that's
There's some
interesting.
violent people out there. Bicyclists are violent.
Oh yeah, I mean we do live in Austin.
That's right.
Believe it or not, African Americans are more likely to commit crimes than LTC holders.
More likely to commit a crime if you're black.
Caucasians are more likely to commit crime than LTC holders, too.
Are they?
Yep.
Wow. There you go. White folks more likely to commit crimes than LTC holders.
Mm-hmm.
Black folks more likely to commit crimes than LTC holders.
You want to know an interesting statistic I heard the other day?
What's that?
So, what is it? 63% of Caucasian women are overweight or obese. 77% of Hispanic women in America are overweight or obese.
The fork is dangerous.
83% of black women in America are overweight or obese.
Beware of the fork.
They are, on average, 20 pounds heavier than overweight into obese. So they would have to lose 20 pounds just to get to the high end of overweight.
Stay away from the scale, honey.
The average black woman weighs more than the average black man.
Ooh.
They weigh more than men.
Shut your mouth.
What's her name?
Oh.
Francine Waters?
Maxine Waters. Oh, my goodness. All right. And Joe Biden has chimed in on the Colorado shooting.
Oh, that was quick.
Very quick. Let's listen to what President Biden has to say about the Colorado shooting.
Yeah, a detailed and lengthy statement, Alex, as we have so often seen from this president and the White House after this string of mass shootings in this country. Some familiar phrases, of course, saying he and the First Lady are thinking of all of those affected by this tragedy. But the president also going into some of the political implications here, specifically when it comes to gun safety. And even though the motive is not yet clear in this attack, the president wrote in this statement, he wanted to say that they know the LGBTQI community has been subjected to horrific hate violence in recent years. Gun violence continues to have a devastating and particular impact on LGBTQI plus communities across our nation, and threats of violence are increasing. The president also said yet another community in America has been torn apart by gun violence, more families left with an empty chair at the table and a hole in their lives that simply cannot be filled. When will we decide we've had enough? And the president also
Yeah, so man, here we go. Here we go, Zach.
Starts.
And this is how it all starts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was actually saying, I'm gonna say October is like incredibly slow for gun sales. When you go back and look at the stats, I guarantee you're gonna see October, November, the beginning of November was actually slow, and now that's gonna change.
It's gonna go up.
Just when I thought, man, I was like, okay, going back to like the pre 2017 2018 time frame. Things are kind of slowing down a little bit. Stock is trying to build up a little bit, and then this happens.
So do gun sales go up because people anticipate that certain guns are going to get banned?
Oh,
and
yeah.
They want to buy them before
This is going to motivate.
They're not for sale.
And I'm looking at this past election. So we look at, so did the Republicans did they gain control of the House?
Right? I think
Yeah,
so.
they did. So. All right. So they gained control of the House. So nothing will pass the House starting next year. Currently, right now, the Democrats actually hold control of the Senate and the House right now until the end of the year. So there's a possibility they can actually pass something right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, before they go on the Christmas break.
But then it's got to go to the Senate, right?
Democrats control the Senate.
Yeah.
Democrats control the Senate currently right now, and Democrats control the House right now. So they want to try to push something through. Right now, they got at least, there's a window in there before they go on the holiday break.
You think they're going to go for the December shuffle real quick?
Go for the lambada. Go for the old gusto.
Do old quickie.
Go for the throat.
A little one night stander almost, or quickly overnight.
Oh, in out.
Get whatever they can get out. In out.
I was waiting for that one. Like, how far can we take this? Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna try to do something before they go on that holiday break. So get ready. Here we go.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Wow.
Boy,
that's perfect. That's politician 101 right there.
Oh yeah. When we come back from the break, I'm going to go to Oregon, talk about the people in Oregon are panicking right now. They're flipping out because something passed in Oregon, and you better hurry up and get your gun license in Oregon, because you don't get your gun license, you're going to be screwed in some aspects of some stuff we're going to talk about here when we come back from the break. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
This is Coleon Noir, and you're listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.
He didn't act that way. He never flinched. He went for his pockets. And when he went for his pockets, I thought my heart was going to stop. I mean, Hi, my name's Jerry. The incident we're going to talk about took place in early March of 2017. Started back about 3 years ago. We had a fella in the neighborhood that nobody really knew. We weren't familiar with him, and he was pretty regular about speeding up and down the street. It escalated into more speeding, threats. He chunked some rocks up into the yard, and broke my windshield in my truck, and it escalated from that into death threats. And he was constantly chirping about how he was gonna end it, and he was gonna kill so-and-so, he was gonna kill me, and it was all chirping. The day of the confrontation, I was leaving the neighborhood and heading to a meeting downtown Fort Worth. It was a beautiful day. I had my windows down. I was in my Suburban. As I was heading out, just about to leave my neighborhood, this guy comes into the neighborhood, sees me coming out, pulls into my lane, causes me to stop, and then he kind of cut at an angle in front of me and jumped out of his truck and ran at the side of my Suburban, saying today's the day you're gonna die, he's gonna end it. He comes over and he's slamming his hands up against the side of my vehicle, my truck. But he's screaming at me, telling me he's gonna kill me, he's gonna end it, this is the day I'm gonna die. He reaches in to try and open up my door. I grabbed my weapon, I put my weapon right at his chest at the window and told him to get back, told him get the hell back. And he never did. He never moved, he never changed anything. He went for his pockets, shuffling into his pockets, and he pulls out his cell phone. I drove off around and called 911 before I got to the end of my street. Yeah, I've carried a weapon for pretty near 20 years, and I've never had to pull my weapon out. Now, I can tell you that when you do that, it's the emotions are incredible. You feel the flush come through your body because you just pulled a weapon on somebody, you're pointing a gun at somebody, and they don't move. And that's a whole nother, they didn't say, whoa, I'm stop, like anybody that you'd think would do that, but he didn't act that way. He never flinched. He went for his pockets, and when he went for his pockets, I thought my heart was gonna stop. I was actually told that if he would have pulled out a gun, he'd have shot me before I could have actually pulled the trigger, and that's pretty awakening. I contacted Texas Law Shield and spoke with them and got a statement that I wrote, and I turned it in the following day. And it was subsequent to that I was told that I was gonna be arrested for deadly conduct, and Texas Law Shield stepped up to the plate, and they got in my corner and handled it from there.
Factually,
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so let's go to Oregon. Gun rights advocates fear all firearm sales will freeze in Oregon in 3 weeks when one of the nation's strictest gun control measures take effect. Measure 114, which voters appear to have been passed by voters by 1.5% margin, bans ammunition magazines capable of holding more than 10 rounds and mandates the creation of a permit-to-purchase system that includes hands-on firearm training. Oh, boy. So we're looking at the end of firearm sales in Oregon until the system is put in place, according to the Oregon's Hunters Association. Oregon State Police announced this week that Measure 114 will take effect December the 8th. And the news outlets are reporting that in the email, whether firearm purchases will halt on the date if a permit processing system is not yet in place. A spokesperson for the agency said only that Oregon State Police is working diligently to ensure that the new permit to purchase program will be operational by December the 8th. 6 out of Oregon's 36 counties voted in favor of the measure. At least 5 sheriffs have said they will not enforce part or all of the law when it takes effect, but it's not yet clear how that would work with a permitting system that will likely be implemented at the state level. Now, numerous outdoor and sportsman groups have expressed opposition to Measure 114, including the National Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and National Shooting Sports Foundation. It's a feel-good measure that only adds new unfounded burdens on local police, eliminates opportunities for recreational activities, and hurts conservation funding while not making any tangible impact on the real problem. Now, man, this is...
So a permit to purchase, that means that they have to ask permission to own something, right?
And it also means that Oregons cannot go out of state to purchase firearms either. And they're basically being held hostage by the 114 because of the firearms dealers have to respect the laws of a person's home state.
Now, all these sheriff's departments, do they also take oaths to the Constitution, or what is that
Yes.
process?
Yeah,
So
when they're sworn
you
in,
got,
they do take an oath.
so you're saying that you got out of how many counties, only a handful of sheriffs actually upholding their own oaths? That's what it
Just-
sounds like to me.
Just a handful.
Just a handful?
Just a
Oh.
couple. In Portland, where residents voted overwhelmingly in favor of the measure, shooting incidents have skyrocketed over the past several years. In 2019, there were 413 shootings in the past 10 months. In 2022, there have been 1,100, according to the data from the Portland Police Bureau. The most charitable spin I can put on this is that they really thought they needed to do something to solve that, according to one of the um, spokespersons there in Oregon. It's a criminal violent act that's happening, and regulating legal firearm owners is not going to have the effect that they are desiring at all. And so, man, I don't know. I go back and I look at remember Chad?
The Chad
Yeah, the Chad
in Washington,
in
right?
Washington State. Yeah,
Chapel Hill,
which is not too far
autonomous
away
zone.
from Portland. Yeah, just I remember how we let all that stuff boil over and just boil out of control, and they never did anything at all. And then now, they're going to the extreme. Instead of just arresting people that are, why would you allow someone to overtake a police station, to take control of a police station and not do anything? How can you do that? How do you call yourself a law enforcement agency when you let, you know, you let your police station it gets overrun and taken over, and police officers are kicked out?
They're too scared to do anything because of potential backlash.
Yeah. So
And then their employers aren't going to back them up when they do.
mm,
That's right there. That's what you get.
it's one of those things, man. I tell you, I just don't know.
Can we just all agree to stay away from safe places? I think that's going to be a good idea because those keep getting targeted.
Oh, and so Thomas says last week I said the guy that stabbed the law enforcement officer at the HEB in Austin, Texas, on Riverside, had a police record. They said he did. Yeah. I mean, my goodness, I tell you,
Big surprise.
Duh, yeah. I'm shocked by that. Didn't see that coming. Yeah, figured that was the case. That is crazy. That is just crazy. Portland saw weeks of nightly violence attacking the federal buildings. Yeah, they left all this stuff. They let it boil out of control, and they did nothing. And now here we are, 2022, and now your law enforcement, they're losing their drive to actually do anything, because now your DA, your district attorney, is not prosecuting people at all. Using the excuse of, this person is mentally unstable, so we don't want to prosecute this person. So what do you do with that person? You put them back on the street and let them continue to commit crimes.
It's a free for all.
Just let them keep going. You're on your own, folks. On your own. Let's go to Israel. Let's go out. Let's go out the country. Let's go to the West Bank. In two volatile spots in the occupied West Bank, Israel has installed robotic weapons that can fire tear gas, stun grenades, and sponge-tipped bullets at Palestinian protesters. Man, I like this. The weapons perched over a crowded Palestinian refuge camp and in a flashpoint West Bank city use artificial intelligence to track targets. Israel says the technology saves lives, both Israel and Palestinian, but critics see another step toward a dystopian reality in which Israel fine-tunes its open-ended occupation of Palestinians while keeping its soldiers out of harm's way. The new weapon comes at a time of heightened tension in the occupied West Bank, where unrest has risen sharply during what has been the deadliest year since 2006. The victory by former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hardline alliance, which includes an extreme right-wing party with close ties to the settler movement. It has raised concerns of more violence. And twin turrets, which each equipped with a watchful lens and a gun barrel, which recently installed atop a guard tower, bristled with surveillance cameras overlooking the Al-Arab refugee camp in the southern West Bank. Man, I tell you, Israel, they come up with some really good stuff. I love the Israeli military.
AI automated guns.
They come up with some good stuff, but they don't mess around.
Ooh, they came up with the Tavor.
Yeah, they did.
It's a great little bullpup.
They also improved the AK
and the Galil.
Yeah, the Galil.
Yeah, they don't mess around. You don't mess with Israel. They will get you.
I still don't know how I feel about an AI controlling it, but
I just love the way they handle technology and the way the Israeli military is just not play.
Have they not seen Terminator?
That's where I go with it, with
Yeah.
that whole AI thing. You can't arm the robots. That's one thing. That's the one group that I say you do not arm, besides, of course, violent criminals. But like, you can't arm the robots, man, because then they're gonna get smart enough to take out the only issue, which is humans. It seems.
Well, Israelis known in the advanced military technology is among the world's top producers of drones capable of launching precision-guided missiles. So it has built a fence along its boundary with the Gaza Strip equipped with a radar and underground and underwater sensors. So, hey, man, I tell you, they know how to defend themselves.
Dang.
By all means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see how these sponge bullets work. Are they like just little actual sponges, or
I guess they get your attention.
get your attention?
Let you know you better stop. I suggest you stop now.
It's a little sponge that fills the wound cavity after the bullet goes through.
The next one's not going to bounce off.
Kind of ironic that they're using sponges in the middle of a desert.
Yeah. Well, apparently the AI is very fast, even faster than the soldiers.
What? An AI? A computer is fast?
Faster than the soldiers. So,
Well, you've seen all those Teslas that just go out of control and then
Teslas
don't
are fast.
stop. Yeah.
I had someone in class today. Was it today? Oh man, the days all blend in. It may have been yesterday. It could have been Thursday, but he worked for Tesla, and we were talking about how fast Teslas are and stuff like
They're
that.
fast.
They're really fast. Like, how come you guys don't have an F1 vehicle? You're so fast.
I mean, if you go on YouTube, you can find some videos of people stripping them bare bones and just taking
racing.
out all these souped up
Mhm.
cars. It's
I
hilarious.
saw that one with the P100D.
Yeah, with the white one. Yeah, that's
Took the back seat out and everything.
everything. It was just bare metal. That was it. You can see the batteries. It was great.
I don't think they can have the range that's needed, Michael, for F1.
It's only a couple of laps.
It's more than a couple laps.
A little bit more.
The F1 race?
Yeah.
It's not that long of a race.
When you're
How-
going that fast, you
Casey,
drain
how long is the
battery.
F1 race? 60 laps? Is it that long?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They just go fast.
Well, just change out the battery. You pull it in and change out the
just
battery.
swap it out.
Yeah,
Just pop it out like a double
They're
A.
popping tires. They're changing tires. You change out the battery. We come back. We got some more stories to talk to you about. We're gonna go to L.A., Los Angeles, California. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Peace, this is Maj Toure. You're listening to Come and Talk It Radio with Michael Cargill.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, I invoke my right to remain silent, and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard, quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given to suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements can be used against you regardless of the Miranda warnings because you're not in custody. If you're put in handcuffs but you say something incriminating on your own without being questioned, those statements can and will be used against you because you're not being interrogated. You're just starting to spout off. This is why it's imperative that you know your rights and you shouldn't rely on the police to read them to you. Affirmatively invoke your rights. Say, I'm invoking my right to remain silent and my right to my attorney. Once you do that, the police legally shouldn't continue questioning you without your attorney present. But remember, there's a second part to this equation. After invoking your rights, you must exercise those rights. That means you have to keep your mouth closed. Protect yourself. Don't let the legal system take advantage of you after an incident. And Law Shield members, if you've been involved in a self-defense incident, remember to call the emergency hotline and speak with your independent program attorney.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so man, I tell you that, Zach, we talked about the stats last week, the unlawfully carrying a weapon, the conviction rates. I'm hearing that the reports from the Department of Public Safety for the year of 2022, the numbers are even higher.
So more people are breaking the carry laws, right?
And getting convicted of unlawfully carrying a weapon. We're talking convictions because we're not tracking arrests. We're not tracking deferred adjudication. We're not tracking drops, charges. We're talking straight convictions of unlawfully carrying a weapon.
So what are people doing? Do you know? Are they having alcohol in their system without a license? Are they carrying into bars and getting caught?
Are they saying screw the signage?
It's a couple things, signage. A lot of police officers are either they can't get people on a lot of things. So what they're doing is like, let's say they arrest you, and because you have a certain amount of drugs, in the vehicle, and there's also a weapon in the vehicle, they add a weapons charge on top of it, unlawfully carrying a weapon.
Oh, it looks like a bunch of them. 1,147 are unlawful possession of firearm by a felon.
And you know what happens on September 1st, 2021? As of September 1st, 2021, if you're a prohibited person who decides to carry a gun anyway, if you're prohibited, you're a convicted felon, they're going to hit you with a second-degree felony minimum of 5 years in prison for being prohibited.
Minimum?
Minimum of 5 years in prison.
What is it currently? Do you know?
Minimum of 5 years in prison.
So you said starting...
As of September 1st of 2021.
What was it before that?
Don't know. It wasn't 5 years.
Less of a...
Yeah, it wasn't 5
minimum?
years. Yeah. Oh. And so if you look at the stats from 2020, looking at 2020, of the conviction rates in the state of Texas for unlawfully carrying a weapon, there are actually 1,049 convictions of people unlawfully carrying a weapon. If you look at the year 2021, unlawfully carrying a weapon, there are 6,924. And keep in mind that constitutional carry did not go into effect until September the 1st of 2021. So that's September, October, November, December.
Oops.
Yeah. So just, this 4 months, it jumped up from 1,049 to 6,900.
Okay, so unlawful possession of firearm by a felon in 2020 was 1,147. In 21, it was like 63. So it went from 1,100 down to, what, 5% of that?
Strange numbers, huh?
That's strange.
Very strange.
To me.
So we'll see what 2022 says, because they say 2022 is even a little higher. I'm trying to get those numbers from DPS right now as we speak.
Oh, 93 in 2021.
Yeah.
Not 60.
So we'll see. Man, let's go to the U.S. Supreme Court. Nah, before we do that, let's go to California. I say we're going to go to California. Let's go in California. Let's talk about your girlfriend, Denise Richards.
Mine? No, that was like 20 years ago.
Oh, not now?
Not now, no.
You don't like her now? Why?
Oh, I mean,
she looked good.
She doesn't look like she used to when I was.
According to the photo
with
I'm
her.
looking at, she looked good.
Are you looking at a photo from the 90s?
How old is that photo?
I don't know.
Does she have that 90s hair? Take a look.
That looks good, doesn't it? That look good? That's a good photo.
It's like her transitional period.
Transitional.
Still, I give her a
Is she
few
a tr-
years after the 90s, sure. But now, no.
Well, the actress Denise Richards and her husband were lucky to escape unarmed when a driver fired a shot at their vehicle in an apparent road rage incident. So maybe they stopped cutting people off from traffic then.
Oh, she had a bunch of surgery on her face. That's what it is.
Is that what it is?
Oh, she looks kind of like a
That-
alien now, kind of.
They all kind of have
You
that
know?
same look after a while.
Yeah,
That's
they go
hot.
to the same surgeons. Oof, they try to just stay young forever.
It doesn't work that way.
Mm.
They kind of look like that one zombie dude from Scary Movie 2, if you know what I mean.
Mm. So apparently they were driving to a studio in LA, in Los Angeles, and a driver behind them began agitated because they were trying to find the studio, and I guess they were a little lost, and the driver started shouting at them, and he eventually opened fire on the truck that they were in, hitting the back end of the driver's side. And there's photo online of the bullet hole of the vehicle, all that kind of stuff. No one was hurt. Um, a production worker at the studio called 911, although it was not immediately known if the couple filed a police report. Denise powered through the emotions of it all and worked for 12 hours. Aaron stayed with her the whole time. When she was ready to leave, an off-duty cop who was on set escorted Denise and Aaron back to the freeway where they made their way home.
I give her some props for putting in an extra work day. I'd want to go home. I got shot at. That's just me.
Oh. Well, don't cut people off in traffic.
Yeah, road rage is real.
It is. It really is. Don't do it. I tell people let the stuff go. It's not that serious. Someone's trying to get to from point A to point B. Just let them go and get on about their way. It's not that serious. I usually get in, jump in my vehicle and start turn on my music, and I'm listening to the music and jamming and trying to sing and enjoy myself and have a good time. I'm not even paying attention to what's going on out there, outside the vehicle in the world too much.
You're one of the few.
I'm one of the few.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you?
No, me too.
You too?
We're one of the few.
We're one of the few.
I ain't gonna lie, I got my music popping. I might curse somebody out. They can't hear me through the glass, and they think that I'm yelling. I just do what I always say. No, I'm singing to the song, man. De-escalate, get my anger out, but de-escalate immediately after. But nothing further than yelling at myself, essentially.
All right, so let's go to Spring Valley. Spring Valley woman charged this week with murder, child abuse, and torture in the death of an 11-year-old daughter who was a Rock Church volunteer by the evangelical megachurch, says it cut ties with her in light of the criminal case. Letitia McCormick's daughter, Arabella, died in late August, and prosecutors allege McCormick and her husband, McCormick and her parents, Adela and Stanley Tom, abused and tortured the girl and her two sisters, aged 6 and 7, over the course of about 5.5 years. Authorities have released few other details about the alleged crimes, according to the sheriff. Arabella's sister now are living in a foster family, according to the authorities. Man, the Amber Alerts, have been seem like they've been ramping up lately. I'm getting a lot of those Amber Alerts, and it's usually someone who's related to the kid.
Well, that
Most
is
of the
usually
time.
who it is.
Is it?
Yeah. It's usually a relative that
Parent.
is the one kidnapping, usually a parent.
I feel like I should just, when I hear that thing, I should just like stop what I'm doing and run outside and just like see if I can find the kid.
It's a little tricky when they're a couple townships away, but yeah.
Yeah, especially like 3 hours away.
Yes. I do agree with that, though. I mean, because
just-
usually people travel.
You hear that, and you're just like, oh my God, stop what you're doing, grab the kid. It's like, ugh. I do feel like that, though. You don't get that urge, that feeling, Zach?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to spot the car that they
That they're-
put out on
they're
the Amber
identifying?
Alert with the license plate.
Yeah.
I look though.
Look
you
for
know,
it.
If I see a silver Dodge Ram, might look at the license plate.
Yeah.
Look for
See
a
if it
kid that
matches.
says help in the background. Yeah.
Let's talk about this U.S. Supreme Court case, the bump stock. So
Your case?
No,
No, not
The
your
other
case.
case.
Nope.
The other
Another
one.
case. So the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday turned away another challenge to a federal ban imposed under former President Donald Trump on devices called bump stocks that enable a semi-automatic weapon to fire like a machine gun. The justices declined to review an appeal by a court of firearms dealers and individuals in Minnesota and Texas and Kentucky. Another lower court rejected their argument that the government had violated the U.S. Constitution's Fifth Amendment takings clause by effectively taking their private property without just compensation. So these people are dealers who had to turn in their bump stocks, and they're dealers that joined together in Minnesota, Texas, and Kentucky, and they want to be compensated as dealers for having to turn over and destroy their stock. And so they're saying, hey, we deserve compensation from the government. And so the Supreme Court refused to hear this case, but they didn't release a comment, any statement or anything like that, which is kind of telling. When they don't release a statement, they're kind of signaling they're possibly waiting for something else to come about, because they didn't leave any instructions for the lower court they sent this case back down to. And so that's a possibility. So there's a possibility of waiting on Michael Cargill versus Garland to, make its way up to the court so they can settle all of these cases all at one time, I think. What do you think?
Well, I mean, yours is a little bigger than takings clause. So.
Correct. Yeah, it's all about, saying, hey, it's saying that the ATF can't create law, which I think will take care of a lot of different cases.
Oh, yeah.
It can actually solve our problems that we're having with triggers, we're having with braces, we're having with a lot of things that the ATF is trying to ban.
They recently tried to do the receiver stuff.
Right.
To stop that from happening again.
Paused it.
Oh, it paused it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So they're still trying to do the receiver stuff.
You're right. So we'll see what happens. We're not sure what's going to happen with that. All right. So that's it. You know what, folks? I like to say, as always, remember, more guns equals less crime. You go out there and you buy yourself a gun. You've been listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.